Our final lecture in the malware section is going to be about how to protect your computer against these nasty little buggers. And this is going to be a bit of a longer video, and I'm going to take my time to make sure that you know how to do these steps. Now, it's just not one thing that you have to do. It's a multi-phase, multi-pronged, multi-things that you have to do in order to make sure your computer is secured. The first concept I want to talk about is called hardening the computer. When you buy a new computer right out of the box, it's got a lot of vulnerabilities. And so hardening the computer basically means making it harder to mess with. Okay, it's like getting a new house. You might want to put new locks on the doors or add new deadbolts or a little window fastener secures. You're basically making it harder for the bad guys to get in and do bad things. So for the home user, this typically means that you're going to make sure your computer is up to date, that you're running anti-malware software, that you're using a firewall, and that of course you are also using common sense. So let's take a look at the first one, which is automatic updates. This is the very first step in protecting your computer against malicious code. What happens is Microsoft and Mac and other manufacturers of operating systems and programs as well discover security vulnerabilities. They discover flaws in their software which can be exploited. Now, this doesn't mean it was bad software to begin with. It's just the nature of the beast. We're always discovering exploits in software. And so updates are designed to fix known issues. This is also important because when the known issue becomes public, the bad guys are able to write code specifically to take advantage of those flaws. So if they didn't know there was a problem, when the patch is released, they know that what the problem was originally, and then they can exploit it. Remember, the blaster worm took advantage of such an exploit. So lots of malware prey on computers that are out of date. So step one, make sure your computer is up to date. There are also anti-malware software tools, antivirus tools that you can use. Now, the best antivirus software tools, in my opinion, are the free ones. You don't have to spend 50, 60, 70 or more to buy good antivirus software. The first one I recommend is called AVG. This is by Grisoft. There are both free and paid versions. I was a big fan of AVG. I used it for many years on my PCs. Avast is another very powerful antivirus software. It's free for home users, and the corporate versions are also available. Clamwin is an open source antivirus software, and the reason why I like Clamwin is because as a technician, you can run it from a thumb drive. So if a computer is really infected, because one of the first things malware likes to do is shut down your antivirus, with Clamwin, I can run it from thumb drive on a computer that's already infected. And currently, my most favorite antivirus software. Now, I'm not a Microsoft fanboy at all. I don't drink the Kool-Aid from Microsoft. But this product from Microsoft, the Microsoft Security Essentials, is free and it's incredibly powerful. And most important for the average consumer, it stays out of your way. It's running in the background. It's not in your way. It's like not having antivirus, but having antivirus as far as you are concerned. Now, Microsoft also provides a list of companies that they work with that they have approved their antivirus software. Now, you might also be asking, where's the Mac stuff? Well, you know what? Mac stuff you really don't need. No, let me caution and say this because holy wars are fought over this statement. I have an antivirus software on my Mac. It's not running in the background. I don't need it running in the background. I have it, and if I think something might be going on, I will run it. If I have a software or a file before I open it, I will run it. But I don't have antivirus software running in the background of my Mac like I do on the PCs. Some people say you don't need antivirus software on the Mac at all. So it's a tricky thing, but on a PC, you definitely need antivirus software. Another tool that I want to talk about and recommend is called CCleaner. This is a free, powerful program. You can also buy the paid versions and it allows you to clean potentially unwanted files. It's great at getting rid of your temporary internet files which is a favorite favorite hangout for malicious code. For that one, it's a little bit more complex. You kind of know a little bit more what you're doing. So again, for the average user, at least have Microsoft Security Essentials running. Newer versions of Windows come with it installed. If you don't have it, just search Microsoft Security Essentials, download it, completely free. So here are some general tips on how to avoid getting viruses, and then we'll talk about firewalls, and then we'll call it quits on the malware section. So some general tips. Keep your computer and antivirus software up to date. I know I've said this multiple times, and I can't stress it enough. If your computer's out of date, if your antivirus software is out of date, you are vulnerable like you wouldn't believe. So make sure those are up to date. Scan all incoming programs and data. If it's coming into your computer, you want it checked at the door with the anti-malware stuff. Scan your computer frequently. Some experts say that you should scan your computer nightly. I would suggest scan it at least one time every week. Never click on links or open attachments in emails unless you confirm it was sent by the person you trust. Again, let me stress this one too. You can get an email from President Obama. It doesn't mean it's from him. It's very simple to create a fake email. So don't click on links or open attachments in emails, even if it's from your mom. Don't open it unless you can confirm with that person they sent you something, okay? So be careful for that. Remember, something like 60 to 70% of infected computers account for the spam that you receive. So your grandma might have been infected and her computer is sending you junk. So don't click on links or open attachments unless you know that you got them. Now, unfortunately, it might just be too late. Okay, in the old days, your antivirus software would do a great job of protecting your computer. Nowadays, malware is becoming so advanced that at best, up-to-date everything, up-to-date software, up-to-date antivirus software, only can catch between 40 to 70%. I know that's a huge gap, right? 40 to 70% of all stuff. So you might be infected and not even know it. You might be infected and your software can't even detect it. So nowadays, antivirus is not your first line of defense. Nowadays, common sense is your first line of defense. You have to be a little bit paranoid if you're on a PC especially. I personally recommend for the average home user to get a Mac. Again, not that it's more secure, but there's less junk written for it. And finally, a firewall. A firewall adds protection between you and the internet. It's basically, if like, again, take a house. All your windows are open, all your doors are open. That's a bad idea. So you lock windows, you lock doors. A firewall locks windows and doors, ports on a computer. So never have your computer directly plugged into a high-speed internet connection. So here I'm on cable internet. I would not have my computer directly attached to the cable box. Instead, I have a router in between me and the internet. Because the router provides a different address, I'm not going to get too into it because it gets a little complex, but basically it provides some protection for the computers attached to it. Now that's not enough. We also can have either a hardware firewall or a software firewall, and this monitors incoming traffic as well as traffic leaving your computers. Both Windows computers and Mac computers have built-in software firewalls, and in many cases it's turned on by default. If you really want a powerful firewall program, which is completely free, and of course they have paid versions, check out Zone Alarm. Zone Alarm has been an amazing firewall software solution for over 10 years that I'm aware of. I'm sure they've been around longer, but they also provide some amazing free firewall protection. Okay, we're almost done. Hope you're enjoying it. Again, leave comments and suggestions when you're done with the course. But our next section is going to be social engineering, or as I call it, hacking the human.